What's going on, guys? Unofficial MCU here. Hope you're all doing well. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the newest episode of Marvel What If. What if T'Challa was a Star-Lord, guys? This was absolutely an amazing episode. So without further ado, let's jump right on into it. So kind of just starting out here with honestly some unpopular opinions, or maybe some of my worser thoughts about this overall episode, and really for this overall show as well. Kind of some thoughts I don't really think I had expressed in the previous breakdown or review of episode 1 of the What If series with Captain Carter, is that it almost kind of felt like a little bit of a kids show, and this is something that kind of began to circulate and kind of go around here later on in the coming days, of course, that many other Marvel fans had, just kind of pointed out that this almost feels like a kids show. It just kind of feels too kiddie to really get into it or anything, and I think that the second episode, for one thing, proved that completely wrong, as this episode was really awesome, filled with references and all types of things, and really was pretty good for most audiences, or all audiences, almost like a family viewing type of thing, because there were, of course, a few curse words and swear words here and there, and that's something that the previous episode didn't really do all that much. Now, another downside kind of thing about the most previous episode as well, for the What If series with Captain Carter, is that whole fighting scenes and all that also almost felt a little kid-like as well, and that's something that this episode didn't really do. All of them felt like legit fight scenes and pretty cool, and of course, if you guys know anything about me and my channel, I absolutely love fight scenes in the MCU. I'm just a huge sucker for all types of fight scenes, and now kind of breaking it down into what this overall episode was, it essentially went through what the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie was, except without really the Guardians of the Galaxy's part. I feel like it, it had T'Challa as Star-Lord, and he never really left to the Ravengers to join the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's something that this What If episode kind of completely missed, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. If for anything, in my own thoughts and opinions, I think that's a good thing, because it still kind of brought and offered in that whole idea of the Guardians of the Galaxy with Thanos and other characters as well, kind of acting almost as a replacement for the Guardians of the Galaxy, and at the same time joining the Ravengers as well. Something that really fascinated me, and honestly just kind of completely blew my mind, was the whole idea of having Thanos actually be a good guy, and that is kind of an unpopular opinion, I think, that goes around in the Marvel community as a whole as well, is that Thanos never really did anything wrong, and he had good intentions, much like we would see in Star Wars with, the Empire did nothing wrong, they were good, and of course you see that and it's acknowledged and you move on. Same thing here applies for Marvel, is that Thanos never did anything wrong. He had good intentions, of course, and that he was actually a good guy at the end of the day, and that's something that Marvel actually acknowledges themselves. And furthermore, good on you, Marvel, pat yourself on the back. I really like that they always listen to the fans, almost in a sense as well. So just that whole idea of Thanos not actually being a bad guy in, this series here is actually really fascinating, and furthermore, I think is really, really cool. Furthermore, who doesn't love to see more Thanos, and it actually adds on to more Thanos memes, of course, which is also really fun. Also, the whole idea of having a twist on here with the Collector actually being a bad guy, and even a stronger version of what he actually is in the movies, is a really awesome and interesting idea as well, and all the fight scenes as well is really cool. Of course, like I had earlier mentioned, I'm just a huge sucker for fight scenes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so it's really awesome and always really fun to see more of that. Now, the whole idea of Drax not actually being there, a part of the, I guess, Ravengers crew as well, but still acknowledging his character is really cool. Same thing applies for a lot of other characters that are part of the Guardians of the Galaxy that aren't actually part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. In this version, at least, it's a spin. I think it's a good spin at that. The fact that they still acknowledge, though, some of these characters, at least Drax, is pretty cool, but we didn't see any references towards, Rocket Raccoon or Gamora or anything like that. And then, of course, the whole ending as well with Star-Lord, who's working at a Dairy Queen, much like we see Scott Lang do, Ant-Man do in the Ant-Man movies, is kind of a funny and a little parallel there as well. And then seeing his actual father, Ego, the Living Planet, walk up to him and causing some sort of havoc. Maybe that's something that we could see in a separate What If show, show, or a second season, rather, for the show. Now, talking about something here that really isn't all that much about this overall episode, it's rather about T'Challa, or much rather our beloved Chadwick Boseman, as this was his actual last performance as T'Challa in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and working with Marvel and working with Disney, and you know, all of that is very, very special, I think, in a sense. And furthermore, I think that honoring that legacy of Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther and T'Challa in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was honored in this episode. And I just think that it's very loving, of course, and he's going to be very missed, of course, as well. And furthermore, it's going to be touched on more of the overall legacy that Chadwick left behind in Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. So many fans are looking forward to that as well, to see how that all plays out, and really just the overall legacy plays out as well, and passing down the Black Panther mantle as well, I think is something a lot of Marvel fans are looking forward to. Furthermore, one of the producers for the Marvel What If show had actually came forward talking about the experiences that they had with Chadwick on the overall show, saying that he was very excited and enthusiastic to get started on the show, and he was actually one of the first actors that Marvel had asked to be in the show as well. So it was very loving, and rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman.